Hello there, and welcome to Ask MandR episode 356. On this episode, we're going to be talking more about LEGO Star Wars Galactic Marines, the 2025 3-in-1 value pack for LEGO Star Wars, LEGO One Piece sets, and much more. If you have a question or a topic for next week's episode, drop in the comment section down below, hit the like button while you're there, and let's get into it with our first question from Elbrix, who says, "It was surreal seeing you mentioned on a Moist Critical stream." I couldn't believe it, but here's the clip.
MandR whines about LEGO worse than scalpers you've covered. Thinks they have a vendetta against them. What? What do you mean? Like, LEGO has a vendetta against them?
Yes, LEGO has a vendetta against me. The company that threatened to sue me, censors my name, and moves reveal dates, does have a vendetta against me. That's just how it works.
It seems like just a LEGO YouTuber. What are you talking about? It seems like he goes over, like, LEGO market stuff and sets.
And that's the clip. So that was it. It was really funny, though. I could not believe that I was featured on Charlie's live stream there. That was really cool. I've watched quite a bit of his content over the years, so that's really neat. I know he's like semi-local to me over in Tampa. So if he's down to collab building some LEGO sets, maybe we could do that. It's just so funny to me. That's like clearly like a big hater of mine that's really upset. Is like, oh, MandR complains about LEGO. Got me featured on Moist Critical. So shout out to my haters. You guys are out there doing the Lord's work. It's also, just really cool, I guess. I don't know. Surreal probably is the right word. And it's really funny because the guy's like, he thinks LEGO has a vendetta. I looked up the word vendetta because I was like, maybe that's a little bit of a harsh word. And the first definition of vendetta wouldn't really fit, I think. It's a blood feud. And I don't think LEGO and I really have a blood feud necessarily. But the second definition fits much better, where it says a prolonged bitter quarrel with or campaign against someone. And I think LEGO does have that with me. I can't imagine objectively looking at what has gone on over the last decade and not thinking that's the case. So anyway, that was a really funny thing that happened in the last week. Next from August says, will you be at Brickworld Chicago? And I have dreaded talking about this, frankly. I will not be at Brickworld Chicago. I don't have the time to go. I'm not going to be able to make it this year. I know it's like literally this weekend. Go. It's still going to be a great event. If you have your tickets, it's, you're already set up to go, whatever. But if you don't have tickets, I'll put your link in the description below for Brickworld. I might have a discount code still if Brickworld doesn't hate me for not going, hopefully. Please don't hate me, Mark. If there is a discount code, it might be MandR. I should probably double check on that. Either way, go. It's still a great time with or without me. And then I really hope to be able to return next year and do something cool. But I procrastinated on a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have procrastinated on. And so I need to focus on that. And I just don't have 9 days to drive up to Chicago and have 5 fun days and drive back, So really unfortunate circumstances, like 110% my fault, but so sucks, but I will not be there, but I'm sure it will be a great event. And it's the first time I will not have been at Brickworld Chicago in a long time, so I'm wondering if I'll feel FOMO or not. I'm going to find out in a week. Why Is You Here Boy with the Gordon Ramsay profile picture says, since we're only getting 3 Galactic Marines in the 2025 Turbo Tank, is there a chance LEGO might release a Galactic Marines figure/foil pack, just like the 2022 ATTE, for example? That set only came with 3 212 Troopers, and LEGO made the figure/foil pack for the 212 Trooper. I'm asking this because I know people really want to army build, especially with figures we've never gotten before. Love the videos and keep up the good work. Thank you for the kind words at the end. Obviously, people say this with stocks a lot, but past performance is not indicative or certainly doesn't guarantee future success, and kind of the same idea applies here. Just because LEGO did it with one thing doesn't mean they will do it with another, but I do think it is very reasonable to expect. They also did it with the Coruscant Guard gunship and the Shock Trooper there. That was another kind of equally expensive set with a figure like that. Obviously, that figure also ended up coming in a battle pack as well, which kind of, negated the need, I would say, for that, but it doesn't hurt to get more clone troopers in more ways, right, to army build. The Galactic Marine, I certainly would expect to come in a foil pack. The only caveat is that it has a dual molded helmet, and I'm trying to rack my brain here. The Scout Trooper came in a foil pack, and it has a dual molded helmet, so that doesn't seem to be like a standing limitation or anything that would get in the way of that. So I can't imagine why we wouldn't end up getting Galactic Marines as a foil pack come late 2025, early 2026. When this set comes out, if you're trying to army build Galactic Marines, don't go and buy them immediately. They'll be $25, $30 on Bricklink, eBay, whatnot. They will be expensive. That's just how it goes. And so if they end up coming in a foil pack, I imagine like I'd be able to sell them for as cheaply as like $8 or $9 instead of $25. So I would wait until until then, at least. Like, they probably aren't going to come in a battle pack or anything, or another set, certainly not in the immediate future. I hope if we ever see Galactic Marines again, it ought to be in a UT-AT and nothing else outside of a figure pack here. So keep that in mind too. I think there's still a potential that we would see Galactic Marines again in the future, given the obvious mess up here on Lego's part with the way that they did the figures in the turbo tank and not a UT-AT. Anyway, I do think it is very likely, and I certainly really hope that it does happen. Next, from Mr. Bricktastic, he says, do you think, since the Galactic Marines are coming out this year, that the Snowtrooper minifigs moving forward will use the new Galactic Marine helmet mold? And this is not something that I had given any consideration to for the last, however many years. A lot of people are like, well, whenever they make a Galactic Marine, it would only stand to reason that the Snowtrooper mold would be used for the Galactic Marine. But it'd be kind of ironic after years and years and years of that type of conversation that it's a complete flip of that situation where the Snowtroopers end up adopting what has become the Galactic Marine helmet. And I think it's possible. The helmets still are a little bit different, but they are close enough where I think Lego might go ahead and do that just to make it make more sense for them having made the mold for the Galactic Marines anyway. That being said, Lego makes tons of one-off molds that are only ever used for one thing, so it's definitely not a guarantee, that they will do that. But it's a very interesting thing to think about. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think below. Maybe I should do a poll on Instagram. That would probably be a better way to gauge like what percentage of people think what, but I'm not really sure which way I do lean. I hope they keep the Snowtrooper helmet itself though. Like, I think that's a really good helmet. I really don't think they should use the Galactic Marine for it. They should have separate ones, kind of like the Scout Trooper and the Kashyyyk Trooper having different helmets. There are subtle differences, and having those represented is a good thing, and they shouldn't mix the two. So that's just probably how I feel about it at the end of the day. Pampier wants to know how high I think the possibility that the next General Grievous will look like the version from Fortnite because of the way they did Hu Yang in Ahsoka's T6, where they just, did the specialized head with a regular minifig body and everything. And this is a scary thought. I don't like it. I hate it. In fact, General Grievous is very much a droid style, and the part of Grievous that sucks is the cost, right? Every set that includes Grievous seems to be $10, $20, 20%, whatever, more expensive than you would think it would be otherwise. And I mean, it makes sense. Grievous is a very intricate thing, probably requires some intricate prints, obviously an intricate mold, whatever. It's not dual molded though. No, maybe it is dual molded. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So yeah, very intricate thing, and so it makes sense that it would be more expensive, but I think it's worth that cost to have such a nice General Grievous minifig. It would suck to see them cut that cost to make what is clearly a very inferior version of General Grievous in a very kind of standardized, form in a minifigure style. Like, I would hate that. I do think from a uniqueness perspective, it would be cool to be able to get and collect. Like, I see that aspect of it as a collector that would be neat. But at the end of the day, as far as like which figure is the best, the actual cyborg droid style General Grievous is better. Because I think if you change this General Grievous, well, now why don't battle droids look like that? Why don't super battle droids have regular minifig bodies? And I think that would be stupid. Like, it would look terrible for all of them. So your thinking is it's not illogical the way that you've presented it, certainly. Like, Hu Yang and Grievous are kind of similar there, definitely. But Hu Yang, I still think, is more human-like in his shaping and proportions than Grievous. So I don't think we'll ever see that minifig version of Grievous. The only reason I would want to see it is just because I think it would be cool to collect, maybe as part of like an anniversary style minifig lineup in addition to the regular lineup of figures within a set, but certainly as a replacement for the normal General Grievous. Yeah, it's just a downgrade, but I understand like it reduces the cost, but I don't think I don't know. Yeah, no, don't do that. Heisenberg says, what are some new sets you think we could get now that we've seen the new Snowspeeder cockpit mold? Gonna go out on a limb here. A new Snowspeeder probably is going to be what we'll end up getting out of that new mold. I don't know what else to answer. What did you expect? Jade Bush says, what is your prediction for the Walmart Lego Star Wars 3-in-1 pack this year? And no prediction needed. It has apparently already leaked. It's rumored, certainly, that the 3-in-1 pack this year is going to be the Mandalore Battle Pack, the Clone and Droid Battle Pack, and the Captain Rex Y-Wing Microfighter, which I don't know. All of these sets are already on sale, and the Captain Rex Microfighter is literally like $6 at Target right now. Like, it's so cheap. It's so cheap. It doesn't even need to be in a 3-in-1 pack to like be made cheaper. You know what I mean? Because usually the benefit of that is that it takes some things and then it makes them cheap. So there's that. But apparently that's going to be it. The total retail price of those items is $63. So I can't remember. I think the just average discount is about 40%. So I would imagine it's going to be like a $40 price at Walmart because, you know, it'll be $63 and then they always slash the price. price. I think $40, it's like, I don't know, probably like 36% off is probably going to be the price on this, which is a really good value. I mean, you're getting basically the battle pack and the Y-Wing Microfighter at retail price, and then you get the smaller Mandalore battle pack for free. So I don't think that's a bad deal. I hadn't given any thought to what otherwise they could do as a 3-in-1 pack. So I don't know if they left like a really cool opportunity on the table, but certainly like looking at it as something for kids, you're getting what, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're getting 9 minifigs and 5 battle droids for potentially $40. Like that's going to be a killer gift come Christmas time as an investment piece, because a lot of people might buy them as investments. I don't think it's that great because you're looking at figures that ultimately in the future we're going to probably get better versions of. These aren't going to be the best versions of those figures, especially for the Clone Trooper side of things. On the Mandalore Battle Pack side of things, it might be okay, but like, you know, the Super Commander's like bliss, perfect, whatever. The Mandalorians are great. Might not see those in another set, so it might be some potential there. I don't know, just trying to give a little different POV here. Anyway, seems like a nice enough 3-in-1 pack, and frankly, very close to a pure army builder 3-in-1 pack. Just one microfighter off. Will Johnson says, do you plan on reviewing the new One Piece sets that are coming this August? I know it's not Star Wars, but they still look pretty cool, and they really do look pretty cool. I love the, I guess, Going Merry pirate ship. I think the issue LEGO will have here is it's one piece for $140 or one piece for $330. Like the price per piece is whack on these sets. Okay, that was a good joke, right? Please tell me it was a good joke.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I like them. I just have never really seen One Piece. I don't really know anything about it, but like the sets definitely have a unique style. The box art for them is really great in my opinion. I think my favorite ship probably is the pirate ship. I just think it's a really cool looking pirate ship. Really, maybe a little too small, but maybe it's supposed to be that way. Maybe it's supposed to be proportioned like that. I don't know. The minifigs overall look great. They've definitely got some great new molds for like his hat. And there was a new hairpiece thing, I think, on one of these clown thing. Yeah, Buggy the Clown's circus tent. What an insane looking set. I absolutely love that one. So yeah, it makes me, I don't know, it's in a weird way. This reminds me a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean. It makes me really wish they'd bring Pirates of the Caribbean back like this for like a one wave type of thing. But anyway, to the core of your question, will I be reviewing them? It's very unlikely. I just don't know anything about it, so it would feel a little bit weird to review. We'll see, but it's probably very unlikely. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff and even some non-Star Wars stuff that isn't One Piece specifically that I do want to get to. Jenna says, now that you've had your enclosed shelves for a while, how effective have they shown to be at keeping dust out? I'm looking to do something similar, but I want to know if it's worth it. Love the quality content. Thank you again for the kind words. And it's totally worth it. It's life-changing. Obviously, I keep a lot of sets in bins that keeps them basically 100% dust-free. But as far as what I'm able to display on the shelves, it's really done wonders. There still is a little dust that creeps in because I open the doors quite often to, you know, move things or just grab something for a video. So a little dust will seep in there. But the real culprit is, you know, I've got the weather stripping, top, bottom, middle, all weather stripped. The problem is on the sides where I have my LED lights, there's still like a small gap where dust can kind of float in. So you'll get a little bit of dust. I'm talking like you dust once a year and you're good. And the dust doesn't really like cake up on the sets or anything. It's mostly like you'll eventually see that there's a very small layer on the white of the shelf. And you're like, all right, let me just clean that off really quick. And so that's usually the issue that I've run into. I just need to find a way to kind of seal off that final side of it because it's mostly blocked off by the LED light. But like I said, there's still a little bit of a gap for it to weasel its way in. And yeah, it's totally worth doing. If you can find even a better system than I have, it's obviously going to be even more worth doing. It's kind of like, you know, hand sanitizer kills 99.9% of germs. Like you're way better off using it than not, even if it's not 110% effective. Brixar says, who would actually make the best LEGO leak analyst? There is a job opening. And yeah, if you guys are looking for a job, LEGO is hiring a leak analyst. I don't know what it pays, and you probably have to live in Denmark, so there may be some downsides there. But it would be a very interesting job. I think, like, as a massive LEGO fan and someone who's been in the space forever, you know, I would find it very, like, mentally challenging and fun to do something like that. I think I'd be pretty good at the job. I probably wouldn't take that kind of job. It seems like a conflict of interest, but, you know, I bet I would be good at it. I can name, you know, probably 12 other people that would be pretty dang good at it, that, you know, just people you see on Instagram basically that do Lego leaks and actually like do the leaking. You know, these people know probably a lot more than I do about it. And so I think anyone like that would really fit. It's hard because if you bring in an outsider who knows absolutely nothing about Lego or the leak space, like you're talking like you got to catch up on like years and years and years of knowledge. You have no background knowledge, you have no experience, right? So you have to hire someone that kind of knows something, right? It's kind of the double-edged sword there. And then like if you hire the wrong person, do they still leak things? two people when they're employed by Lego. I feel like if I had a job at Lego and I've signed away my life on an NDA, like I'm not going to leak anything. I would have no desire to do that. I just wouldn't do it. But like, I don't know. You never know. Like you can always end up with someone that's a bad actor actually taking the job, and then it becomes a bigger issue from the inside. It's an inside job. So yeah, I do wonder about that too. That's always an interesting like conundrum. I'm sure Lego, has thought about that, right? But yeah, probably one of the Instagram leakers. I think I would be, if I was going to work at Lego, much better off and much more happy helping Lego Star Wars be great than like stopping leaks. I really think it's such a nothing burger for Lego to be chasing down leaks. Like it benefits them so much. It's so much of the news cycle, the hype cycle is like the rumors and the little drops that happen throughout the year, like I don't know, it benefits them so much. I don't think they realize that. But anyway, just another guy says, what is your overall opinion on the upcoming summer wave? Also, do you think I should get a custom Galactic Marine or the turbo tank? I mean, the custom Galactic Marines, especially the good ones like Konami Customs, they're still going to cost you like $30, $32. You may as well get the Lego ones and then buy some custom waist capes. We'll have them on MandRshop.com by August, hopefully when the set actually comes out. Because all those figures are going to need is a waist cape. And those will cost like $3 each or something. It'll still be substantially cheaper than going and buying the custom ones, I think. And I think the Lego ones, other than not having a waist cape, are really dang good. I'm not going to show those pictures in this specific video, but when I did film that video, I was kind of in a rush, so I didn't like go super in depth on a lot of things. But I'll kind of gloss over it again. I won't go in depth until my reviews and like actual pictures come out. Let's just leave it at that. But overall, it's a very crazy selection. Like it's very Clone Wars heavy, prequel heavy oriented. Obviously, we still got the UCS AT-ST. We got the Ewok that did leak. I feel like I'm missing something else. Like there's obviously the Death Star coming out, so there's a lot more original trilogy stuff still coming, but it does feel very prequel heavy if you just look at what did leak. I would say the wave is like probably still plagued by a lot of the same issues that we've seen for the past 3 years, where you've got some pretty bad quality minifigs. Obviously, we've got some pretty good quality ones like Obi-Wan, Ventress. The Clone Pilot looks good. The helmet print is going to be bad. It's going to be missing like the entire like back 3/4 of the print. But obviously, there'll be plenty of people that don't care about that and say it's great no matter what. I think the builds specifically look awesome. Like even though they're small, they look really good. And this has been an issue sometimes with something like an AAT. That's a really good example, I think, where you've shrunk it down and it just doesn't look right. The turbo tank looks right. The MTT, at least the angles that we have, because we've got some odd angles going on. The turbo tank, they definitely try to make it look bigger by going with the low angle. The MTT, just a picture we have, it looks like the back end is cut off in the image, so we can't really see the full build, but that front half of the build just looks really well designed. All the angles look really nice, and even though it's shrunk down, it's not going to be anything close to the size of that 2007 MTT. The proportions, the shape, everything looks really solid. The V19 Torrent, another one that I think we were maybe worried would look really bad. It's not going to have that same functionality that it did in 2008, wherever it is back here. It's not going to have the same like crazy functionality that it did in 2008 where you can do stuff like this, right? I think it is just from trying to look really close, like a ball joint system. So you'll just lift the wings up and down very simply instead of like this. Like you won't be able to do that. There's no way. But it's still very cool. Like the landing gear and everything. This was crazy for 2008, right? But the benefit of that, of course, will be that the design, especially in this area, will be like really cleaned up. So I think the new V19 will look really good, albeit just smaller. But again, a lot of it comes down to like not being off proportionally. And I think that's something that this wave, especially with its downsizing in mind, does very well. And so when it comes down to like really overall, it's probably very similar to what I think of most waves overall. The builds look pretty good. The price is kind of overpriced, and the clones generally are bad. And it's just, that's how it's been for the last 3 years probably at this point. And I feel like that's kind of the status quo. It's hard for me to sit and think it's an all-time great wave, much like the previous summers. Every summer people are like, this is the best wave ever. I don't know about that. I feel like we've had our best waves ever. Summer 2008, 2005, 2007. I feel like we've had that, right? Maybe if these had what could be perfect clone troopers, Lego possesses that ability, we could be having that conversation. Maybe if the builds weren't downsized, we could be having that conversation. I just don't think you can call it the best wave ever. And it's kind of this, again, it happens every summer. People call it the best wave ever, and it's just probably not. But overall, it looks really solid. I'll really try hard to do a wave overview video this year for the summer. I've been meaning to do those the last couple of years, so I think I will get that done this year, because I do think it's important to have a video like that where it just kind of shows everything. Charlie says, was there ever any validity to the Lego Black Pearl UCS set? So this is that time in the rumor cycle, I guess, where people start to think the rumor was fake, but it was still always scheduled to come out in October or November. Like when it first came out, the rumor, I'm sure it was like coming in October, Black Pearl. And then it comes to like June and everyone's like, oh, it must have been fake. And I'm like, no, it still comes out in October. But usually it's a Star Wars set that we're discussing. So yeah, I think the Black Pearl is still coming out later this year. I don't think anything's changed there. I'm very excited for it because I just rewatched the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It was still awesome. And I think I got to build my original Black Pearl at some point soon. I was very surprised. I looked up the price of the Black Pearl because I moved everything out of my garage, by the way, because I got my garage floor epoxied. And in doing so, I was just like, oh, here's all my Pirates of the Caribbean sets. I should build these. And I looked up the Black Pearl online. I thought it was going to be worth like $1,000 sealed. And I was a little disappointed. It was only worth like $600 or $700. I don't know. Not that I'm going to sell it. Doesn't really matter. It's just been so long since I've thought about it. I just thought it would be way more expensive. So definitely should be coming out this year. And assuming it does, I will buy, review, and compare it to the original one. Brick Reporter says, if you weren't a YouTuber, what would your job be? I've gotten this question and variations thereof probably hundreds of times over the year. And I don't have a good answer for you. There is no like thing in my mind where I'm like, I would absolutely be doing this if I wasn't doing that. My first thought, of course, is I would probably be working for Lego in some capacity. You know, that would be my alternate path, right? Like when I was in college, I wanted to do the, it's the Lego, what do you call it? Merchandiser. So yeah, you go from store to store and you like make sure the Lego setup is good at all of your company stores or whatever, Target, Walmart, formerly Toys R Us, I suppose. So yeah, you would like drive around. I thought it'd be cool to just drive around to a bunch of stores and like fix up the shelves and like put new product out or whatever it is. Otherwise, my plan was to get a degree in marketing. So maybe I could be working for the Lego marketing team. I certainly never would have become a Lego designer. I'm not skilled enough in that, you know, maybe that's a skill I could have acquired had things been going differently. I guess alternatively, I do wish I was working for Lego if I wasn't doing this, you know, I'd just be another guy at the office.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
It's Cookie says, can you start a reaction series to your older videos? I would love to see more takes of 12-year-old MandR. So first off, if you're interested, I do have like an 8-hour reaction live stream I did last year for the anniversary of my channel to like a bunch of my update videos, like 120 videos. That might be a good watch for you. You know, cut it up into 100 different parts for yourself and watch it. But that's basically a reaction series in and of itself. I don't feel like I'm good for reaction videos. There's a reason I don't do them or do a lot of them. I just thought I had a good opportunity last week with a couple of questions to like kind of throw it out there and try it out. I don't necessarily want to do a lot of it. Even if it was super successful for that week, I don't think I would want to do a lot of it because I just don't think it's great. But I suppose if I ever do anything like that, and certainly like a series, I would just make it its own channel and do a thing, I guess. Maybe I would commandeer the good old MandR Collects channel to do something like that. But certainly on the main channel here, I just, you know, not to call it low effort or whatever, but it does feel low effort. And it's weird because it's like, oh, it's so easy. It's low effort. I'm not good at it. So I don't think I should do it. And I guess I'm not good at it because I don't do it, right? You know, goes both ways. Mega says, bro, fix the shuttle cockpit nose bricks. They've been backwards for years. Crying emoji. And he's talking about my Imperial landing craft as I look at it on the shelf over there. And I had to look this up on my YouTube channel. I was very curious. So I reviewed this set on July 27th, 2018, and throughout the entire video, the cockpit nose is correct on this shuttle. So I hadn't messed it up yet here. However, I ended up comparing the set on July 18th, 2020, so about 2 years later, and I think I had to clean up the set. You can see my shelves in the background, open air. They got really dusty, and so I had to like deep clean the set to be able to compare it. And in doing so, when I put it back on, I put the nose upside down and I never like looked at it and thought it was wrong, but it has literally been wrong in my collection for 5 years and I haven't fixed it. And so today, just for you, I'm gonna fix it. So I think we just have to snap these bricks off the front, flip them over. I can tell this is my old model because it's still dusty, even though it's been in that nice clean shelf forever. I do have a sealed one of these I was gonna replace this with at some point, so that'll happen. And I'll re-review it because if you notice my review of this from 2018, that all white background looks atrocious, so I wanted to redo that. Anyway, now it's fixed. Thanks for mentioning it again because I was definitely never gonna fix it if you hadn't, so you're welcome. Now it won't annoy you, but that is it for this episode of Ask MandR. If you guys do have a question or topic for next week's episode, please leave it in the comments section below. Can't do this series without them. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, and you can check out more LEGO Star Wars content on the end screen now.